Anadine Marshall has done work with many nonprofits in a variety of ways, and right now she's serving as the programs director with the nonprofit Charity Vision. I was so inspired by this nonprofit and the work they do to not only restore curable sight impairment worldwide, but also the goal they have of empowering the communities they work with to be self-sustaining and giving them the tools they need to facilitate their own solutions for the work of giving vision care. Anadine talks about the Sight Buddies program that Charity Vision runs here in the U.S. and in other countries, and she gives some insights and tells inspiring stories about the cataract surgeries and other services they help physicians provide all over the globe. And I loved her final message that the ultimate goal for any nonprofit, or really anyone trying to help and do good, should be not to enable people, but to empower them and give them the extra bump or nudge they need so they can go on to help themselves. Listen to this episode to learn more about this inspiring nonprofit, Charity Vision. Welcome to the Do Something More podcast, a service-oriented show where we highlight the helpers who inspire us all to do something more. I'm your host, Melissa Draper. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of the podcast, and today we are featuring a nonprofit called Charity Vision. They are focused on restoring curable sight impairment worldwide, and they also do initiatives locally here in the U.S. as well. They are involved in so many ways with eyesight and those kinds of initiatives. So I'm excited to learn more about their nonprofit and all the good things that they do. But today I have from Charity Vision, my guest is Anadine Marshall. Anadine, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, let's just start off with you giving a small introduction of yourself.
Great. Well, I'm Anadine. I'm the programs director for Charity Vision International. I've been with Charity Vision a little over 4 years. I've done a lot with humanitarian work, helped start Tabitha's Way Food Pantry, and was there for about 4 years and loved it. When I transitioned from the pantry, I just never thought that about vision. I never realized how important vision was to the world. And so then here I am learning a ton and being able to help in vision.
That's great. We featured Tabitha's Way, I think back in February on the podcast. So that's a great nonprofit doing good things as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I would love to go into just the basics of Charity Vision and what it does. And I love how you touched on that a little bit, because I think many people would think, well, why vision? Why is that such a big deal? So maybe you can go into that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just was like everyone else. I really took my vision for granted. Of course, after 45, I realized, wow, I can't actually see those little letters and I need readers now. So I have a little better appreciation for that personally now with my own vision. But I think here in the United States, we're just super blessed to be able to go to the vision doctor or get help quickly. And so we don't think about how much vision impacts our world. I mean, I think I know when I was little, I used to close my eyes and imagine what it would be like to be blind and then try to find everything with my eyes closed, to see what it would be like. I mean, we just don't have it in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not something that is on top of mind for others when they're thinking about humanitarian and how to help people. But surprisingly, it really is an issue, and not just internationally, but here in our country and here locally, here in Utah. We've got lots of people lots of kids and even up to high school that don't realize they can't see well. And so then, teachers and others think that there's issues with behavior, or maybe they have a learning disability, or they have some other issue, when all it is just a simple pair of glasses that could resolve so much and also help their confidence. There's a lot of bullying that happens when children can't see. And then in adults, as adults get older, they develop cataracts, which is a protein that develops in the eye, and it's very natural and normal. And especially internationally, that is not affordable for the underserved communities, for the poor and for those rural communities. They just don't have accessibility to take care of those issues. And then they just grow blind. And then it's just a cultural habit thing where the grandchildren take care of grandma or grandpa that's in the corner of the home in the dark. And
Mm,
it's what they have to do. And so it's just the quality of life is terrible for those whose vision, they don't have vision. They can't help, they can't enjoy their life. So
yeah. And I think it's such a fixable thing too. And for
yes.
many times in inexpensive ways. There's so much good progress we've made, and even just a pair of glasses that's been donated is not too expensive to fix and to help someone.
Yeah, my job as programs director is to manage the 28 countries that we're in we have partners and directors in those countries, and within those countries we have partners with local hospitals, local doctors. And so our whole mission is to help the communities and the local doctor.
Mm.
And so we really want to empower them. We empower them with equipment. We empower them with supplies, with training and support. We assist them with outreaches. So our model really isn't a fly-in doctors that come in and do some massive outreach for the year, and then all the people wait again for the following year for this free eye care. It's really helping the local doctor realize that they can help the poor in their community. They can create an affordable price, a social price. We encourage social pricing because we really believe that is self-reliance, and that really promotes somebody's esteem to say, I'm going to gather some money from family and from my community. We're going to get these cataracts taken care of for grandma, things like that. And we do some free as well, but we really love empowering the social clinics and the government hospitals and private clinics that really are trying to do a good thing.
I love that idea, that because that seems more long-term sustainable, right? To go in and empower those local communities and countries. So, do you mind just sharing a little bit of that process? How do you do that? Is it through equipment? Is it through training of local doctors? Is it just
Yeah.
through education? What are some of the things that you do to enable to empower these different communities around the world where you work?
Sure, sure. Well, there's a few ways. We do have a very big warehouse in Salt Lake City where we will acquire equipment. We have a partnership with the USAID, which is the government program where they donate equipment from their veterans hospitals and their hospitals around the country to us. And then we're able to send those out to countries for ophthalmic and outside of that, even not just on vision, but we do lots with orthopedics and neonatal, all kinds of things through some of those countries that are part of the program. We've got awesome team that will find great prices on other equipment on eBay and other things. Fortunately, we have amazing support from private donors. We connect with strategic organizations that do the glasses. There's just so many wonderful organizations that are trying to help. And so we will send big containers out to our countries and support them that way. We also support through cataract supplies. And so we have a vendor in India that when we order a mass amount of cataract surgery kits, then we send those out to countries to support them through their cataract surgeries. And what's so amazing is when we're able to offset that cost for that doctor with these cataract supplies, then they're able to lower their pricing because it makes it
Mm,
more affordable for them. And of course, our partners are doctors that have a heart to serve, want to do good for the people. We also try to elevate, we work on training programs. We elevate the ophthalmology in the community. We work with several doctors that's their mission, doctors here in the United States that want to really offer good training for those universities and for those doctors, because in several countries, let's say a student goes through the ophthalmology program, then
mhm,
once they're done, they have not had any practice really, because there's been no equipment to teach them on how to have the practice. We don't want that practice to only go for the poor. We want it to be quality. And so
mhm.
these doctors will go and they'll do trainings. And so we sponsor doctors to go do training. We have a doctor here locally from Provo that's going to go to El Salvador in October, and he'll do different forms of cataract surgery training and glaucoma training and things like that. And so that's always a huge value for our countries to get the training they need to be able to help the people.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we love hearing stories on here, and I know you've had experience in your work with these different countries, traveling to some of these places. Do you have any personal stories you can share of some of the ways this has really helped and affected people in these areas around the world?
Yeah, I do. I mean, another program that we are really strong at is a program called Sight Buddies. And
Right.
some of our listeners might have been involved in the Sight Buddies program here locally, but we have that program all over the world. In South America in Spanish, it's called Quiero ver, which means I want
Mm,
to see. I'm kind of an emotional speaker, so I probably will choke up with these
yeah.
stories.
Oh,
I was
it's
thinking, I
okay.
know Melissa's going to ask me questions and and she's going to want to know stories, and I'm probably going to start getting all verklempt like I do. But yeah, no, even I just want to share a little story here locally. A year ago, last year, I think it was, we were fitting glasses on one of the kids there at Utah Valley Eye Center. Like I said, you don't realize that there are so many kids that really can't see, and they're borrowing their mom's glasses to see, or their brother's glasses, or they don't know how to communicate that they can't see. And usually they're the kids that are rowdy or getting picked on and things like that. Well, we put
Mhm.
a pair of glasses on this particular child, and he just he just his face was just so wow, and he got a
Mhm.
little very emotional. He was probably about, I don't know, maybe 10. And he's like, I can see that. And he was just looking at this picture, and he goes, I can see like the edge. I can see the images, things like that. Or I can see the leaves on the tree that was at the foyer. Something he didn't realize he couldn't see, he could now see. And then we do follow-ups and we find out how they're doing and what the teacher's saying. And it's just been great. And I think that as we do this, and as other partners that we have here in Utah, we have awesome partners like I Care for Kids and Friends for Sight and all these awesome other programs as we collaborate together and as we're trying to find those kids that are in a situation where their parents probably work 2 or 3 jobs and they can't take them to it, or there's other reasons, undocumented immigrants and things like that, that children should not be without sight. And so
Mhm.
those are really sweet stories. When I go internationally, I'm actually brought my daughter to one of my visits down in the Dominican Republic, and
Mhm.
she was in a nursing school. So she was really excited to just be in the surgery room with the doctor. And
Right.
it was really amazing. I saw her through the little window because it was a very small surgery room and only her and the doctor could fit really in this surgery room. And I was watching him. And when the doctor right when he had removed the cataract out of her eye, she saw Sarah, and she was blind in her left eye at irreversible like retina detachment that couldn't be done. So she would only be able to see in one eye.
Mhm.
But when he removed the cataract, she hadn't seen for 5 years. When he removed the cataract, I saw her reach up, and she like started getting up, and she was reaching up to hold Sarah.
Oh,
And I was
sweet.
like, it was just so beautiful. And the
Mhm.
doctor's like, sit down, lay down, lay down. I mean, immediately removing that cataract, and now she could see. And then when she came out of the operating room, she was with her son and everything like that. I mean, it's just the most beautiful. It's a beautiful experience, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to be able to see these moments worldwide and see these wonderful doctors and partners who want so much to bless the lives of people. But there's so much to do.
Right.
There's 2 billion people suffer with vision impairment worldwide.
Wow.
It's just there's a lot to do. So we got to get to it. We got to figure it out. We've got to find out how we can really help people.
Yeah, along with that 2 billion, I saw that your organization itself has done over 1 million of those surgical
Yeah.
procedures.
We do 130,000 surgeries per year, roughly.
Mhm.
We are way past our 1 million surgeries. I think about 3 years ago or so, we
Mhm.
celebrated our 1 millionth patient. Her name's Eliana. She was a 14-year-old girl in Peru.
Wow.
And it's so cool. Every year we do we do these expeditions where we can showcase donors and show the donors the work, the contributions, what they're doing and everything. And we go and visit Eliana's home. She's up on the hill in Peru and overlooking Ollantaytambo, which is the place, this is the train that you take to get to Machu Picchu. So you can
Mm.
imagine the most beautiful mountains and the most beautiful site. But she invites us to her home. So we hike up to her home and she'll show us how they live, and the whole family's there. They're so grateful. But now I've been able to visit her for the last 3 years. And I just see Eliana just blossom, she's confident, she's happy, she's so grateful. She had a cataract, she developed a cataract because of an eye injury when she was
Wow.
a child. And yeah, her life's changed. And so I always bawl when I see Eliana every time because I'm just like, this is so amazing. Like, and like you said at the beginning of this discussion, it is so quick. It's 15 minutes to remove a cataract from an eye. To provide a pair of glasses for somebody is so easy. And we've broken it down because Charity Vision, we are in so many countries and we have so many ways strategically that we've done to help people. We've broken it down to being only $10 for a pair of glasses. So if somebody,
Wow.
it depends on the pricing in the country and how we can get it with them edged and all of the things. But because of donors, we were able to break it down to that, and then $25 for cataract surgery.
Wow.
So little. And so we love it when somebody says, you know what, let's do a monthly donation. I'm going to donate, and I do it personally. I'm going to donate $25 a month because I know that $25 in that month has changed a life. It's
Yeah,
100,
this is one of those instances where every little bit and a small amount, even $10,
yeah.
can make a difference. And I love how you point out that changing vision and enabling someone to see or have good vision is life changing and can affect their quality of life in so many different ways. So I love that. Well, don't ever apologize for the emotion with your stories. I love it. I think it shows the passion and the heart that you have for this work that you're doing. I just wanted to go back a little bit to what you mentioned about Sight Buddies. That is the program that you do. You do it around the world, but you also do locally with school districts.
Yeah.
So I just want to hear a little bit more about that, of what that entails. I think it's mostly screening kids. And I love that you do that work as well. I was one of those little first graders that came home and told my mom I couldn't see the board. And so I remember, a little bit of that experience, but fortunately I grew up in a home where that could be taken care of. So I'm sure it's good to have these screenings to help these kids get the glasses and the help that they need. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, 100% those nurses, those school nurses are the heroes. Those are
Wow.
the ones that, wow, they just care so much about the kids, about the children. And also our doctors, our local doctors. We work with Rocky Mountain University, Dr. Wilkins and his team. He does residents. He has residents there. And so the residents come out and then they do the screening. We have other partners here that will help provide for glasses, things like that. So as Charity Vision, we do the same thing here as we do in other countries where we kind of we facilitate it, we bring it all together, we want it to run well. And so that's kind of what we do because we know that the school districts and schools are just going crazy trying to figure out how they're going to educate kids and all the other
Mhm.
things. Doctors are really busy with their vision centers and their clinics, but we find local doctors here, Eagle Vision and Eagle Mountain and Achieve in American Fork and Utah Valley Eye Center in Provo. And if anybody that's hearing this runs a vision center or has an optometry and would like to get involved, I am working on trying to divide up a school district into their local vision center and
Uh,
sort of like we're going to adopt the kids from, let's say, Forbes Elementary School or one of the schools. And then they know that that's the place that they're the heroes. And so Charity Vision loves it, loves to make everyone the hero. We really love all the work that everybody's doing. And so that's how we do it. Some programs in school districts will do an event where it'll be like, around November or so, where they'll have the kids will already have been screened by the school nurses, and then they'll be bused to the vision center to have that second evaluation. And then
mhm.
Sometimes they'll walk out with their glasses at that time, or they'll have to be ordered and then they'll be delivered within 2 weeks. There are questions sometimes where people will say, well, what about all those who could pay for it? Because all this will be free. All this is free. What about people who could pay for it, but they don't? That is always a thing because according to like some of the HEPA laws and things, that's sensitive. Those were sensitive
Right.
topics and things like
Right.
that. But honestly, we haven't had a ton of those issues. I think there's just a lot of integrity with people. I think that they understand that this is for people who are in need, and we're happy to help them. And so are the vision centers. We're happy
Right.
to help those kids who we know have had issues. So this in absolutely no way is to replace the responsibility that parents have to get their children to get their eyes checked, get their vision, go to a vision place and figure that one out. But it has blessed a ton of lives of those children. Just working at the food pantry, I got to know lots of people who have a lot of needs. And wow, that's the last thing a parent sometimes will think about is whether their children can see the board, which is surprising, but it is
Right.
with
If they've
addiction.
got so many other things going on.
Yeah, no, we've got people who are just trying to survive day to day and
Mhm.
with addiction or depression or whatever it is. And so I think it's a responsibility that we have in the community to take care of each other. And
Yeah.
this is the way we can do it.
And as a parent, I'm always grateful for other professionals that sometimes do catch things that I might have not always noticed or been aware of. I've helped with some of those eye screenings at my kids' elementary school and was always surprised. Yeah, there were always kids that needed to go on to that second screening. But as a helper, I never thought it was because someone was negligent. I just thought, oh, that's great. This is so good that we can help and
Yeah.
catch things early enough to get them the help and the assistance that they need.
Yeah, we're super fortunate. We're super blessed in our country. We have and we've been raised with an abundance mentality, especially here in Utah. I mean, we have got the most generous giving of our time and of our resources mentality, and I'm so grateful for that. So it's been fun to work the program here locally and learn how to make it a good program here locally. And every country has their pain points and
Mhm.
the way that they have to work it out. And that's where we jump in a lot with how do we make glasses affordable? How do we do it? Like, for example, in Guatemala right now, we've got labs that are charging $25 for a pair of glasses. And we have a clinic that really wants to help all these children that they've been screening, but they can't afford the glasses. And so my job is to try to figure out how to make it affordable, bring it down to $5 a pair of glasses or something like that,
Mhm.
or how we're going to make it work so that it is affordable and these awesome doctors and hospitals can actually help their people.
Right. And that takes, I'm sure, a lot of creativity and strategy on your
Yeah.
part, but that is why your nonprofit is there.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, one more thing I wanted to cover that I thought was unique to your nonprofit for those especially that might be considered donating is that 100% of your donations can go to help your cause because Charity Vision has its own medical company that covers its overhead costs. Am I getting that right? So I
Yes.
thought that was so unique. Do you want to just share a little bit about that for a minute?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love it. So that's always a hesitation I've always felt when I've considered donating to a charity, thinking, okay, am I paying for all of your, overhead or your staff or all your things? And yes, they do need a little money. I mean, we all need something to be
Right.
able to
To
subsist.
function. You're a business,
Yeah,
really.
we can't
Yeah.
just all work on 100% volunteers. I mean, we do have a lot of volunteers, but we actually need to pay some staff. Well, so knowing that we had some hard costs and building costs and things like that to store the equipment and all those things, Doug Jackson is the CEO and our equipment director is Aaron Locke in Salt Lake. And before I even came in, they came up with a plan to how they were going to help that everyone's donation could be going 100% to the vision of the person. So it really is just paying for that end goal. And so they started a company for medical equipment. So they'll acquire medical equipment. We have biomedical technicians that will refurbish the equipment, fix it up, and then they'll sell it on eBay. They have a company right now. They actually started a second one that will go and pick up equipment that people are ready to give away, and they don't need it anymore. It's broken or it's in some warehouse somewhere. And so then they'll clean it up, fix it up, do the things, and then they will make some money from it. And then those will go to taking care of those hard costs like staff and warehouse and things like that. But we have a very small team. You kind of imagine,
Mhm.
when you watch a show about nonprofit, you think, wow, it's this lots of people. I mean, I think we have like 10 or 11 people really in
Mhm.
our headquarters here in Provo and Salt Lake combined. And then we have in-country coordinators and directors, which we have probably around 14 of those. We also have clinics. That's another really important part of the sustainability for Charity Vision is we have several clinics in countries that are private clinics that we help start. Maybe we own it 100%. Maybe we go in as a partnership with a donor. And then as that optical shop or that vision center or that hospital or clinic is making money, then they will take that money and either pay towards the program or they'll sustain the program for the country. So right
Mhm.
now, Philippines is 100% sustainable because
Mm.
we have 5 clinics there. And so they pay our programs director and all of the charity work that we do in the country. Haiti is completely sustainable, which Haiti is so crazy in their government and in the country really, but we've been able, because of the investment from those clinics, pay back into the program. And so it's sustaining the program, so we don't have to send a budget. We don't have to, our coordinator is paid by the clinics. So it's so cool. And that's what we're doing right now in Tanzania and Peru and in several countries, is creating clinics so that we can bring money back into the program.
Right. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I think it just makes it more long term and more stable, and to know that those resources and things will be there. But I think that's fascinating and inspiring for anyone running a nonprofit to see those ideas and ways that others are able to function and make things happen. So,
It's the only way to help people. You can give them a gift of sight or whatever, but really, what are you really doing? I mean, we don't want to enable anyone around the world. We want to empower them. We want to show them the way. I always thought about this, and I'd always have this image when I was at the food pantry, even is, when you're going down rafting on a river and then you kind of hit a rock and you kind of get into a swell. If you've ever been river rafting,
mhm.
and the water just kind of starts getting in your boat and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, this boat's going to go down. I'm stuck. I'm in this place. You just need someone to help bump you up out of it, right? If you just had a little bump up, then you could go on your way and you would be fine. That's very much the way it is, and how all charities should really behave is, how am I bumping the people up so that they can now do their good thing? That's really what we all should be doing. Whatever charity, whatever thing that we're doing, we just need to help empower the people to help themselves.
That is perfect. I love that's such a visual analogy for any good or service anyone wants to do, that our role is to bump people up
Yeah,
so they can go on doing the things they were meant to do or the strengths that they have. So that's great. I might use that one
you
many
can
times
have
more.
it.
Great analogy. Well, Anadine, this has been such a great conversation. Do you want to just end by sharing where others can find and learn more about Charity Vision?
Yeah, I mean, you can go on our website, www.charityvision.org. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Just Google Charity Vision and you'll see it. And what's really fun is that our website will take you to different countries. So if you are interested in a particular country, let's say you serve a mission in a country and you know that that's a country that you have really connected to, you can donate money to help restore vision in that particular country. You can learn more if you're a doctor and you want to be part of the program. You can also email me. You can email serve at charityvision.org. if you'd like to get involved. We have a huge project coming up for the National Day of Service. We will be in several locations. Orem City is involved, tons of churches in Provo. But what we're going to be doing is collecting glasses. Lots of people have a lot of old glasses frames in a drawer they don't know what to do with, and they feel bad throwing them in the trash, which you should feel bad throwing them in the trash, so don't do that. But you can donate those to us as Charity Vision. We will repurpose those frames, pop those lenses out, make it, and send those out to countries. And so you can feel good that grandma's frames went to a country or whatever, or your frames, even readers, things like that. Anyway, so we're going to be working on a project where we can pop glasses out. Also, I know the holidays are coming up. Everybody's like, okay, what am I going to do? And my family reunion or my holiday activities or my church. We are happy to provide frames. And also, we're working on eye drapes and also creating eye patches. So if you would like to find a project, we do it for organizations all the time. And so you can reach out to us at the same serve@charityvision.org or Charity Vision. There's on the website. And there's at the bottom, it says how to help. And so you can reach out that way. And yeah, we'll show you a great time. And then you can feel good that you did a good thing. And so that's how you can get
Yeah,
involved. Yeah, it's fun.
that's great. So many good ideas and ways to get involved with your organization. I love it. So I will put links to everything in
Okay.
our show notes so others can see and hear more about that. Well, thank you so much, Anadine. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Thanks so much, Melissa. I've had a great time.
That was my interview with Anadine Marshall, Programs Director for Charity Vision. And she shared so many things that this good nonprofit is doing. They really have organized and I think done things in such a way that can really be an example for other nonprofits. Not just their many programs she mentioned, like the Sight Buddies that helps give kids in different communities here in the US and outside of the US eyeglasses and the vision assistance that they need, and also the cataract surgeries and things like that. But the work that they do to help communities help themselves. How she mentioned their goal is to help the doctors and clinics and places in these rural areas around the world to be able to offer these services and to be 100% self functioning. And I think that's a great goal. And even their own nonprofit, how she mentioned they have that business, which I was so fascinated by, that they run that own business on the side to help them with all of their operating costs so that 100% of the donations they receive can go to those who need things like eyeglasses and surgeries and things like that. So a really great example. And of course, the best example of all, I think, was that beautiful analogy she gave at the end that I think is good for any good work that a nonprofit organization or just us as individuals serving and helping others. That visual of seeing someone river rafting down a river and they've gotten stuck in a little rut. And our goal is to go and just give them the nudge that they need so they can continue to go on their way using the gifts and talents they have. Our goal should be to just help and empower people. And again, I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I think every one of us can relate to needing that nudge at some time in our lives. And I'm so grateful for the good nonprofit organizations that I feature here on the show, and also just the good people who that is exactly what they're doing. They're busy going around giving those needed nudges to individuals in society and just for people as a whole. And I think it's so inspiring and a great reminder for us. We all have the power to give a nudge in one way or another. And of course, she left all those great ideas that you can help volunteer with Charity Vision. Today, the day this episode drops, is the National Day of Service. So if you want to go to justserve.org and you put in Charity Vision, if you're here in Utah, especially Utah County, you will see some of the specific projects they have pop up on that website. Or again, as she mentioned, you can go to their website. I will put a link to that in the show notes and see the many ways that you can serve and assist them as organizations or individuals. Lots of good ways to help this nonprofit if this is a cause that sounds inspiring to you. And of course, as always, I hope this week you can find a way to do something more to help lift, inspire, or make a difference.